Hello everyone, my name is Alex Winkler and I hope you had a wonderful Halloween. Although my Halloween was pretty good as well, I did have a real Halloween horror story that I want to share with you guys. And it was actually probably one of my worst trading experiences I've had in a really long time. So as much as it pains me to keep thinking about this trading week and let alone make a video about it, it's something that needs to be done. An incident like this needs to at least be learned from, or else it's a complete waste. Although I share every trade I do with you guys, I felt like these last few days needed a extra video so I can review it all while it's still fresh in my head. There's a huge lesson to be learned here for everyone, including myself. I'll try to be breaking down as best as I can along the way, so make sure to stay tuned till the end. So it all started on, I think it was Monday, October 29th. I had a beautiful start to the day, woke up at 6:30, made my watch list, everything was going good. I was hawking the market like I have been for the last 2 weeks, waiting for a larger crack like I've been writing about in most of my watch lists. However, I need to leave to the airport around 12 o'clock to pick up my girlfriend, and literally as I leave, the market tanks. My shorts were all on standby and I was nowhere near to execute them. In the end, an easy profit of around 5% was left on the table. To give you guys a quick overview, if we go to the hour chart, you kind of see what I was talking about. This is LTC right now, but roughly the same pattern across the board. You can see we've had some pretty slow consolidation for several days right here, and this is the hour chart again. So basically this is around 12 o'clock right here, and that's what I left. That's basically when I closed the door to my apartment. We had this massive crash. And what really makes this kind of depressing is I've been watching this for days, and even more so than that, we were expecting a larger crash in the market for around 2 weeks now, and that's what really makes it painful. So in this first crash, I probably would have gotten in around here near this first break and a bit of consolidation. This is usually where you can find a little bear flag or huge sellers looking to execute. So this would have been a beautiful entry, and this is with most things across the board. If you're not sure why this would have been a good entry, I talk about this in many of my videos. I also review this in my 5-day free trader course, so make sure to check out that if you aren't entirely sure what's going on. But in this video, I'm just going to kind of be focusing on the larger events that took place in the last 2 days. Overall, on this Monday, I didn't really have any regrets. I was happy to see my girlfriend again. It's been over a month, and even though it was a missed opportunity, one that I was really predicting now for a while in my watch list, it didn't really bother me too much because as a trader, you're always going to be missing opportunities, and that's normal. The market is full of new setups, and don't dwell too much on the past. There's going to be better setups in the future. Here's really what ticked me off, and this is on Wednesday 31st, so on Halloween. So going back to this chart, I've already outlined this trade. Day trade 177. It's actually the only one I've made this week, and it's because I just haven't really been online as much as I should, so I've been kind of missing these swings. This trade really messed with my head more than anything. The entry was ideal. It was at the top of a ascending channel, and I started shorting near the highs. There could have been possibly a better entry near here, but in the end, you cannot complain with this almost perfect entry and then a beautiful crackdown. What made this trade so stressful, I guess you can say, is that I was watching it right around here. And at this time, I had to do some last-minute Halloween shopping, which took about 2 hours. And during this time, we had a nice little crackdown here, and then a run back up here. And this is a confirmation of a breakdown. I mean, this is a classic breakdown bounce pattern that is actually one of my top favorite patterns that I like to short. And if I saw this, I would have been extremely excited as I could have watched it live, and it would have been playing out really nicely. Anyway, the crash happened just as planned, and I would have been looking to get out right around. That was pretty upsetting. In hindsight, I probably should have made a stop order to get out right around there, but I didn't do that because I was expecting to be here online when it happened. I'll talk a bit more about what you should do when you leave your computer and planning ahead a bit, but in this case is a perfect example of what happens if you don't plan ahead perfectly. Anyway, by the time I got back, the price was already around over here, and my stop loss got me out of this trade for about an $80 loss, When the price was down here, I was up around $200 to $300. I calculated in return. Nothing crazy profit-wise, but a trade like this, it was highly predictable. I was talking about it for quite some time in the Discord chat room and in the watch list. You can see it happened over well over 24 hours. So, easy time to set up a nice position for this. And that's why this trade really bothers me, because it was, just perfect money on the table. And in hindsight, it's just really depressing how this thing turned out. Now, there's a second part of this trade that I want to review with you guys that was a real bummer. So while Litecoin was cracking like crazy, one of my favorite long-term coins, NEO, was also cracking very nicely. So basically, I've been watching NEO for quite some time, and it's one of my favorite longer-term picks. And since the end of August, I've been waiting for another opportunity to get in when the price was under $15. And that really hasn't happened since, except for that 2 hours I was outside and the price dipped below that level. You can see right here what happened on the 31st. And this is when I was out. I mean, this is perfectly when I left the house. It's like the market gods or somebody was against me. You couldn't have planned this better or planned it at a worse time to leave your house. I had a alert go off on my computer, but of course, I wasn't there to get into the trade. I also did not have a limit order set up. Like I'm sure you guys are probably thinking right now, why didn't you have a limit order to execute when this came off? It's because for my long-term investments, I transfer over funds to Binance when I see a good opportunity, and then I execute that trade. I typically transfer with Litecoin, and because Bitcoin takes about an hour and Litecoin is in several minutes with Binance, so I probably wouldn't have had the perfect entry, but let's say I got in at 14.9, I would have been really, really happy with that. Because with trading, it's not about getting the perfect entries or the perfect exits, it's simply about getting the meat of the move. So I would have been looking for something like from here to here, and that would have been a beautiful setup. As an investment, I'll probably be holding this one much, much longer, potentially for several months. But as a swing trade or a day trade, which could have been done as well with my trader portfolio, this could have been a really nice trade. So as my investor banker friend says, this is why men have offices. You can't be near chicks during market hours. And I know what you're probably thinking, that's super sexist, but that's not really what he meant. He meant basically you have to be in your zone. You got to be able to shut out all the noises and really focus on work when it matters. So of course, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not blaming my girlfriend. I'm not blaming Halloween. If there was a crack in the price and so much riding on a specific time, I should have easily been able either to lock myself in my either home office or co-working space office, cancel any event and really just focus as much as I need to, or place orders ahead of time. Create limit orders and stop losses. So at least if you are right, you can benefit from that, but if you're wrong, your risk is entirely hedged. I definitely accept the responsibility for this outcome. It just really crushed my spirits, and that is why I took yesterday off. I didn't make a watch list and I didn't make any trades simply because I know it would have been mostly emotionally fueled, and I probably would have got into a bit of an over trading frenzy where I tried to make up from lost profits. So this is really a testament to the psychological pain of a missed opportunity, because in essence that's really what it was. An $80 loss is really nothing, and it's just above a scratch. Typically, besides making a trade review, an $80 loss is really nothing to think twice about. But in this specific case, the missed opportunity was huge, somewhere between $10 and $1,500 of missed profits. Besides the money, what really bothers me is how much I was forecasting this exact setup, and it happened perfectly, and somehow I missed out on the whole entire thing. That is really the most frustrating part about this whole thing and why I'm making a video about it. Ultimately, we need to live our lives, and actually the whole reason I trade is so I have more freedom to do what I want to do. So in the end, especially as a trader, you got to realize that you're not always going to get every opportunity, and that's just the name of the game. There's always going to be more. So just thinking about that makes me feel a little bit better. The lessons here is that there's always going to be an opportunity in the future, and especially as a day trader, you can't expect to get everything. Number two, preparation is everything, and that's exactly why I get up so early. But when you have a setup like this, you should either do two things like I mentioned before. One, either take the whole day off from any distractions and non-trading activities so you can really hone in on that setup if you think it's going to crack. Two, you can also get in a position or place limit orders and stop losses ahead of time. Obviously, that's not favorable, but if the price does exactly what you wanted, at least you were able to capitalize on a little bit of that. What I am happy for, though, to end on a bit of a positive note, is for you guys and this YouTube channel, which is kind of like a trading video journal for me. It helps alleviate some of my stress in times like this, and it also helps me organize my thoughts ahead of the week and at the end of the week and almost every day. Also, something else happened that was pretty amazing on my YouTube channel. I hit 50 subscribers. Why that's so cool is because in the beginning of this month, that was my goal to hit 50 by the end. And I remember on the 31st of October, I was at 49, and when I woke up on November 1st, I had 50. My goal is to have 100 by the end of 2018. So let's see if we can hit that halfway mark of 75 by the end of November. If you found this little rant of my Halloween horror useful, definitely check out the Enslow Crypto Trading Discord chat. There's a link right below in the description, and that is always where I post everything first, including any new setups that I see and am looking to trade. Well, that's all for now, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of the week and this upcoming weekend. So happy trading and ciao ciao.